few weeks ago I posted a video that showed me testing out my homemade smoke machine. I was going to use this in some buildings to create some wispy smoke coming out of the chimneys. So to do this I need to create a heating element, and because of this I was a bit reluctant to put this video up. So if you are making this, do be careful. The coil gets extremely hot, and if you're not careful you can start a little fire, even just with the cotton wool. So first of all I needed to get some resistive wire. This is called Kanthal. It's widely available on eBay. I'll put a link to the one that I used below, which was a little sample pack, but it had quite a lot of the Kanthal wire, enough to make several coils, and definitely enough to do any testing and try it out. For this I'm just using some batteries just now. You only need about 3.5 volts to make this work, so it's not a huge amount, and the battery having a switch means I can turn it on and off quite quickly. The coil does cool down quickly, but it will still stay hot after it's turned off. So to start off with I need to wind a coil, and for this I do about 8 turns of the coil around a fairly small diameter screwdriver. The coil should be fairly tightly wound to give out a large heating element, but you are going to be poking the cotton through to act as a wick, so be aware that you do need to get something through the hole that you make in the middle of the coil. To connect it to the battery pack I'm just using a plastic chocolate block style connector. This is already connected to the batteries, a DC supply. Here I've got a 3-pack battery holder, which gives just enough power to run the heating element. When doing this you need to make sure that the spikes of the coil are underneath the screws. This will get hot, the whole wire gets hot, so using the plastic terminals here I would have preferred to get metal ones, but I couldn't find any, and I wanted to get this video up. So just make sure that it's got a tight grip on the actual wire when you've screwed it in. To make the wick I'm using these cotton pads that you can get in cosmetic aisles. They're in Tesco, they're everywhere else, and I only need a small strip. So I tend to cut the centre out to give me a nice long wick, but if you've got a shorter section you can use either side, and one pad will make multiple wicks. The wick is you need to change the wick every now and again, as the heat will burn it, will singe it, and will stop the wicking of the liquid up into it. So if just be aware that you will need to change this every now and again, and it's the thinner you make it, the less surface area. So you do need to get a balance of a nice strip of cotton. So I've now pushed the cotton through the coil, and I'll need to secure it onto the edge of the reservoir of liquid. To do this, just for this, I'm actually using some masking tape. I then use a little bit of wire to help drip some of the liquid into the wick, and this helps it wick up quicker. You can just leave it wick up itself. It's important not to turn it on until the wick is completely wet, otherwise you will set it on fire. I have done that several times now by accident, not had enough of the glycerol liquid in the actual cotton, and the evidence is a flame. Now that I've made sure that the wick is definitely wet, I'm ready to test it and turn it on. The smoke doesn't start right away, it takes a few seconds, but please be aware that this coil will be hot even though the smoke hasn't started. It's only once the water gets up to boiling point that the smoke will start. So you're at 100 degrees Celsius at least for this. So just keep your fingers away. So here's a closer look of it actually working. You can see the wick going through the coil, and the coil slowly causing the water to evaporate and the liquid to cause the smoke. If you've got any questions, please let me know in the comments. I hope you liked this video. A lot of people did ask for it. Thanks.